What's up, YouTube? Behind the camera is Ellie. I am Michael. We are the Bill Paying Hobbyists, using our hobbies and skill sets to keep our debt down and hopefully save up for a down payment on a house this year. If you like what we're doing here and you're learning something, you're learning how to use your hobbies and skill sets to pay off your debt, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time our new videos come out. Don't forget to like and share. We really do appreciate it. Nurses Week is coming up, and we wanted to say thank you to the nurses and all of the medical professionals in our community. Recently, I had a procedure done, and the nurse that was there took really good care of me, so I wanted to make something for her, and that's what we're doing this week. So let's get to it. For this pen kit, we're using a Stark Stylus roller ball. I asked her what her favorite colors were. She said that she likes coppers. So I found this one. Let me show you what it looks like real quick. This is the cap, and the tip comes off. There we go. There's the tip. This is the cap, and it has an end stylus, which I figured would be very beneficial for her since she's a nurse. And we're going to use African blackwood. She said she likes the feel of wood. So instead, this time we're going to do it a little different. We're not going to put a CA finish on it. We're just going to use tung oil and shine it up with that so that she can still get the feel of the wood, instead of having like a plastic coat over the top of it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cut our nice long 8mm tube to fit the blank, and then we'll drill it and glue it up and let it sit overnight. So let's go to the bandsaw. At the bandsaw, tube, blank. I'm using this blank cutting jig that was made by my father for this bandsaw. I could tell you how to make one, but it won't fit your bandsaw. I'll provide a link for instructions on how to make it down below in the description. It's really simple. I can take my blank, I put it right here. This is a gauge of sorts. It goes right there, and it tells me how long I need to cut my blank. My blank will go right there. There is a fine-tuning adjustment knob right here, so I can make it a little bit longer or shorter depending on what I'm doing. I just hold this with my finger tight that way, and then I grab my blank and I hold it tight up against here and here, pull them into each other, and it keeps it nice and tight. Let's cut it. Ooh, safety glasses. And there we go. Now my blank is just a little bit longer than my tube, which allows me to square it off while I'm turning it. Next, we find our center and go to the drill press to drill the 8mm hole that goes in this thing. I'm going to use my pen vise right here to hold it, and I have a backer plate down here, and that just helps keep things from blowing out because you have a surface to go through. Clamp that down. It doesn't need to be real tight, just enough to hold it in place so it doesn't turn while you're drilling. And to find my center, I'm going to just take a straight edge and connect corner to corner. And this wood is really waxy. They put a wax on it because of the oils that are in it and everything else. And that's not real center, is it? Let's go here. There we go. So right there where those corner lines meet up is my center. And to make it easy for my drill bit to find that, I just take an awl and I put it right there in the center on that X, and I make a point out of the way of my drill press. That gives something for my drill bit to guide to. The point of the drill bit helps that, and it doesn't wander while you're drilling. I got my drill press set at about 650. All right, I have my 8mm drill bit. And I have to be really careful because it's almost at the max of my throw for the length of this blank. So I want to make sure I clear just barely. And I want to make sure that my drill bit is going to go down far enough to clear, which it will. Make sure it's straight. And then we can drill our hole and take our time. Nice and slow. Is a very hard wood. I don't want to overheat it. And our hole is done, drilled all the way through. Now we can go to the bench and get it glued up. See the oil that comes out of that? Pretty cool. And we got that hole drilled. I got this one all scuffed up. You don't want to use a smooth tube, so you want to use some 120 or 80 grit sandpaper and scuff this up so that the epoxy adheres better. I'm going to use 2-part JB Weld epoxy, a little small piece of cardboard, and stirring stick. And we'll get this glued up. There we go, all glued up. We'll let it sit overnight and then we'll turn it tomorrow. All right, so the blank's ready to turn. It's been 24 hours. First thing I need to do is I need to clean out some of this residual epoxy that got in there from gluing it up. And that's pretty simple. You can just use an X-Acto knife and get that out, but I gotta be able to see what I'm doing first. So for this pen kit, the Stark Stylus rollerball, it says you can use a slimline. I want to see if I can use a seam ripper bushing. Let's see what this is. 51-128. 55-128. That's pretty close. So I can get it close and then turn it down the rest of the way with the sacrificial bushings. Get my lathe set up with my pen mandrel. That goes there, number 2 Morris. We'll get that out of the way. Got some 2 bushings there, 1 there. They're just spacers. Put that there. Helps me get away from the ends here. Ooh. Then a mandrel saver. Mandrel goes inside there. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It gives this end of the mandrel something to spin on so that I'm not pushing on it, flexing it, and trying to bend it, because you don't want to bend it because then it'll be ruined. Good and snug. You don't want it too tight. Ready to go. African blackwood, really, really hard. And I'm gonna use my round chisel. Probably set my lathe at about 2800. All right, so we got it round, we got it close. Now we need to sand the ends so that the ends of the blank are square with the tube. So here I have my backer plate with a 120 grit sandpaper on it. On this side I have my drill chuck with an off-center jig, and this punch pin slides right in there, and then this will slide on here, and it gives me a perpendicular surface to my tube. Turn this down to about 1200. Get close. And sand.
Kind of looks like a cigar.
It does. Smells good though. Right there. You just want to sand enough so you get a shiny tube on the end. See, we got to sand this down to the tube. Right there. Now we're ready to finish turning. So one of these ends is going to have a stylus on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it like a little bulb right here, just a little finger stop on this side, so that when she's using it and pushing on it, the nurse is pushing on it, it doesn't slip out of her hand. Nothing major, just something ever so slight. So here I'm just going to use plastic bushings because I don't really want to dig into my metal bushings. I like to save those. And I got to go a little bit deeper anyway because these aren't the exact right ones for this kit. I'm adapting. There we go, right on it. All right, so now we're down to where we need to be. And now we're going to sand it. That's going to be our shape. And to start that, I'm going to use some 180 grit sandpaper. Turn this down. We don't need to sand that fast. All right, after we do that, we want to go along the length of the blank to get rid of any circular lines, because they will show up when you polish. Now at this point we would normally get some CA glue, which is my Mercury Flex thin and medium, and I would get these out and I would put a finish coat on that, and then I would sand that down and polish it up. However, after speaking with the nurse that took care of me, she likes the feel of wood, and I don't want to cover it with plastic and take away that feel. So we're going to polish it up even more dry, just like this, using my micro mesh, take it all the way down to the 12,000, and then I'm going to put a couple coats of tung oil on it. Before I put any kind of finish at all, I am going to clean it with some denatured alcohol just to make sure there's no dust in it. Dust generally turns white when you do a finish. Look at that shine. Woo. See, I want to get all of that out of there. And that is what we're going to put on there, tung oil. All right, we're going to let it sit for a little bit and then we'll put it together. So this is set for about 2 hours. Now I'm going to press really, really hard, and I'm going to kind of bake the tung oil into the blank. So basically I'm just going to heat it up and let it dry and polish it really, really well. Set it at about 1200. My fingers are hot, and that's good. All right, now we're going to do some coats of Renaissance. And this is going to help seal in the tung oil and help with fingerprints and just protect it all around. That is beautiful. Now we're ready to put it together. All right, for this I have these two pieces that I turned. They fit right here in my lathe. The bigger one I made for the headstock, and the smaller one I made for the tailstock. And it's basically turned it into a vertical press. All right, so we have our pieces. This is the top, that's the cap. This is the tip coupler. So I'm going to press this in first, and this goes on this end. So it goes right here. No, I'm not. I forgot something.
You have to chamfer the end.
Yeah, take a chamfer tool and do this. And it just kind of bevels the end of your tube on the inside. It helps the pieces set properly. Helps guide them in, make it nice and straight. Here we go. All right, here we go. So this is our writing end, and this goes in here this way. It goes right there. I'm going to lock this end down, and then I'm just going to crank. And then we're going to do the cap. This screws off. All right, so then we have our spring. Spring goes in. This is a roller ball cartridge. Take that cap off. That goes in there. Doing, doing, doing. And then screw your tip on. And there you are. That's a little plastic protector for the roller ball. That goes on, and that goes right there, right on that. And then this screws on over the top and holds it in place. There we go. Good to go, ready to go, Stylus. And then we can put the cap on, and we are done. There you have it. We got a nice copper and African blackwood pen all made up, ready for Nurses Week. Nurses Week is May 6th through the 12th, and in appreciation for that, and all first responders, really, thank you so much for everything that you do. We know you got it tough. We know you are in harm's way all the time, and we really do appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, stay through it, and we're here to support you as much as we possibly can.
Whole medical field.
The whole medical field, definitely. We also have an extra special thank you to an amazingly talented woman. She spent many hours studying to become a nurse. Ellie, do you remember telling you when we went to our son's Air Force graduation that she spent many hours up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning studying just to become a nurse?
Definitely. Working really hard.
And then she still got up in the morning to do everything that we needed to do for the graduation.
She's mad talented.
That's true. So, Jessie, my sister, thank you very much for everything that you do. Happy Nurses Week. Enjoy it. Much appreciation. And we love you.
We appreciate you.
If you are going to sell this particular pen kit with the African Blackwood, here are your numbers. For tools and supplies, you're looking at around $10. For materials and time, you're looking at about $5.50. So a total of $15. You can round it up to $16 if you want. You could sell this pen for $35, giving you a profit of $19. Not bad for something that you didn't even have to put a CA finish on. The really cool part about this pen is we used tung oil instead of using the CA glue. It gave it a nice smooth finish, and it was actually faster to do. So you're saving yourself time and material because the tung oil you don't have to clean it as much. You don't have to worry about the finish. You don't have to use 5 to 6 coats of CA glue. And it turned out beautifully. And it also gives you the natural feel of the wood, whereas using the CA glue, you have that plastic finish. We hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please put them below so that we can respond to them. We always enjoy reading your comments. Thank you so much. Again, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, make sure you like and share so that we can keep doing this for you. We'll see you on the next one. We love you. $26, $36, $20, $19. It's not.
You're using your fingers.
It's $19.